Hi, I'm Sarah Sophia, and I'm a Tantra teacher, kink teacher, and counsellor in Bristol. And I was thinking today about the workshop that I'm going to be doing in Manchester in May, and I was thinking about how I would actually introduce one of the teachings, the compass teaching, which has 4 directions on a wheel, like south, north, west, and east, and in each direction there's a different kind of role play depending on what the energies are in each of those directions. And I was thinking about this way of teaching, this model of how to ascertain which role play should we be choosing. Looking at what's going on in my life, looking at what's going on in my partner's life. When we get together to talk about a role play and create a scene together, what is the best way to do that? And I was kind of also thinking about how, because I've been on a shamanic path for 30 years and I've studied in other paradigms as well, I was thinking about how all of the different paths to enlightenment use this compass model as a kind of roadmap of how to be human. And which is an interesting aside for any of you who are interested in ritual magic and how to use kink as a way to raise energy in order to do an intent. Those of you who are interested in sex magic, which is the third weekend I'll be doing in Manchester and also in Bristol on ritual magic and kink, how to set up a scene, how to set an intention, and how to run the energy of the scene so that you can reach a peak of energy at which you send the intent. And that's something that I was thinking about while I was mulling all of this over with my coffee this morning, is how that's one of the mistakes that we can make as a dominatrix or a dom, is not um, creating the peak and then the valley with the energy, trying to run a scene with the same intensity all the way through. That doesn't work. It doesn't work in as humans. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in terms of helping our sub to land, which is really important, and it doesn't work in terms of sex magic and sending out an intent and then bringing the energy back down again. We need to set the seed, we need to talk beforehand, we need to decide what we're going to do, we need to get all our props together, we need to create the mise en scène of the scene, we need to look at the timing, how long is it going to take, and then we need to work out, if we're the top in the scene, we need to work out how am I going to raise the energy, how long is that going to take, in theory, for me to reach the peak of the energy. And then when you're in the scene, using our senses, observing what's happening with our sub, observing what's happening in the energy between the two of us, the space between the two of us, which is the kind of magical space that the two of us are creating, or excuse me, the three of us, or whoever, however many people are in the scene, the magical space that we're creating between us, in which that in that field of magic, our intention can be held and then released into the ether, released into the universe, so the universe can hear the message and then return that back to us. Letting go of the intention is very important. If we go around holding on to it, it's not going to get released into the universe. The universe can't hear what we're trying to deliver, and then it can't give it to us. And then we need to bring the energy back down after we've ascertained what the peak is, and do that in a safe way, so that our sub can land, and then we can do the aftercare. And I'm going to do another video about how do we know what the peak is, and what do we do at the peak in order to change the energy.